Hi, my name is Mariko Gifford. I'm the owner and operator of Moringa for Life, and I'm here on the Moringa farm doing a demonstration of how to plant a seed. And I'm also going to go over some of the frequently asked questions and frequently made mistakes in planting a moringa seed. So I'm standing in front of a glorious moringa tree. This is the beginning of May 1st, May Day. Beautiful auspicious day for talking about moringa and the spring that's that we're beginning in. So I'm holding up a branch that has the moringa leaf and moringa flower. For us, it's unusual to have so much flower through the winter and spring. So we've had mild winters, and so the moringa leaf has stayed on, and the flower as well. So we'll have seed pods early in our season because of that. So I just wanted to show what moringa looks like in San Diego, May 2015. So it's kind of a warm time for us. So what I have here in front of me are the ingredients for the soil. So we do a lot of work with the soil. That's one of the most important things that we do here on the farm. We create our own soil, we create our own compost, our own compost tea. Vermiculture, we have worm bins, we use worm castings, worm casting tea. And we also have mycorrhiza, so all of these are parts of our planting procedure. Over here is the moringa seed, beautiful moringa seed. I just want to point out that the moringa seed has wings on it. It's actually meant to fly. It's a really beautiful seed. So what I have in front of me is a very rich soil and perlite. So one of the things that's really important in planting moringa is that the soil, whether you're planting in a container or in the ground, is very well draining. So it's a full sun and well draining soil procedure. You want to make sure that you have the most amount of sun hours as possible. We're going to go out over that as well after I plant the seed, the growing season that you might be in. So that's perlite that's mixed into our soil, and I have some already mixed, and it looks like this when we're getting ready to plant. So it's 50% of our very rich soil, and it's 50% perlite, and then I add, in this soil is also 10% either worm castings or composted manure. And so that's what makes up our soil. So we add that into our container. It's also pre-moistened for this demonstration so that you can see that process. So you're going to fill it to about that depth. It's going to be about an inch to the top of the container. And we use these tall pots. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at a container that you pick as tall a pot as possible. This is 2 inches by 9 inches. Hard to find, but some places have it, and we will be carrying this in our shop. So the moringa seed can be completely hulled. This is the actual kernel. This is what the seed looks like before. When you're planting multiple moringa seed, we just pierce the outside, and so that water can get inside that hull. It's not necessary to peel the whole thing, especially if you are planting hundreds, or in our case thousands of moringa. You don't want to have the time taken up peeling that hull off, so not necessary. We pierce that, and you want to put that down about 1 inch into the soil. So we take a moment always in planting moringa to think about who might be using this product and do a blessing or a kiss, so that we also connect with the end person and the end user of our moringa. Always been important to me in my moringa journey, so I invite you to do that as well. So you just place that into your container, cover it with soil. So it's about 1 inch into the soil. Oh, forgot a step already. Before we finish that off, we're going to put just a tad of mycorrhiza. You can look that up. The information is on our website. A lot of companies that are carrying mycorrhiza these days. And then you just do your final soil on top. So we have here a really finely mulched palm. We get it delivered to us, but you can use pretty much any kind of mulch as long as it's really fine. Do not use pine needles, eucalyptus, oak, things from trees that have tannins. Those add another component, and you want to just avoid making that top layer acidic. So a very fine but well mulched top mulch, and you just are going to cover the top of that, and that's really just to hold the moisture in a little bit. Doesn't keep the plant from coming up. It's just a very light layer. So that's your moringa planted. So I wanted to go over a couple of things. A lot of people have the misconception that they can germinate moringa year-round and have it thrive. That's one of the most asked questions, is when can moringa grow in my area. So I've gone through a lot of different processes of trying to explain it. I've written it out and changed it many times. So what I've come to, and hopefully this will make it clear, we're going to look at longitude and latitude lines. So if you know where your latitude lines are, that's in relation to the equator. Moringa is a tropical plant, so where it grows best is in the tropics. Away from the tropics, you get a shorter and shorter season until you have, not the possibility of a moringa season at all. So where we are in San Diego, it's 33 degrees latitude. We have a short season. It's between June and possibly not until July, until fall, so October. You might have a season that lasts only from July and August. So it all depends on where you are. Don't think that because it can germinate, it can come out of the seed and germinate year-round, but it will not thrive unless it has the right number of sun hours and the temperature. So even for us, we look at the difference between night and day temperature. Once the evening temperature is about 50 and the day temperature is 70, so a difference of 20 degrees, that starts the growing season. If it starts to have a cold front that comes through, it'll either kill the moringa or it'll slow it way down in the growing process. So no more than 20 degrees between your night and day temperature. Evening temperature no colder than 50 degrees. It can be hotter. It can go 70 to 80 to 90 degrees, but that evening temperature should also rise as well. But that low temperature should be no colder than 50 degrees. So you should look to see what latitude you are on. About 30 to 33 degrees above the equator and 30 to 33 degrees below the equator. That's the zone. The optimal place is between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So those are the two first latitude lines, north and south of the equator. Those are the best places to grow moringa. Everyone else, us included, have a shorter season, and you'll just need to look to see, when your season is. It's going to depend on those parameters. The difference between day and night temperature no lower than 50 degrees. And then and that's in the fall as well, when your temperature starts to drop. That's also the case. And it can be that you are in the desert. A lot of areas in the desert can grow moringa really well, but most deserts have a cold night temperature in the winter, and so that will force your moringa to go dormant. Dormant means it looks dead, but it's still alive underground. So one of the other reasons I wanted to point out that we use this deep pot, it's really important to keep your moringa seedling in the pot that you planted it in for the entire first year. So moringa is fragile when it's in this new state. The root is going to be white. It'll look like a little white radish, and that is really sensitive. Transplanting that, you are risking shocking it because you'll be transplanting it probably in summer when you have heat, and that can kill a lot of moringa. So keep it in that container for that first season. After the first season, it'll have a bark on the root, and it becomes very hardy at that point. You can take it out of the ground and keep it out of the ground for years on end and plant it, and it will still grow. It's extremely hardy at that point. So remember that the first year, if you're not planting it in the ground, you're going to make sure that you have a deep pot and that you keep it in that container for that whole season. So I hope that makes it clear. There's a lot of information there, and we still will have a lot of information on our website. So thanks for tuning in.